Hi, everyone. Welcome to Raw Stories. I'm Dr. Nancia Leath, and I'm so excited about today because we're going to dedicate this wonderful Raw story to our college graduates, our high school graduates, people from kindergarten that graduated, people from leaving from middle school going to high school. We want you to know that we are so happy for you. We honor you on today. And even as I like to read a speech for you in honor of you, I hope you can hear the words. Sorry that many of you could not experience a traditional graduation, but we want you to know that we celebrate you. We are so excited for you, especially women and women who thrive. Wow, congratulations, graduate. Today is a great day. It's a day to celebrate with your families and friends. A day you've been waiting for since you entered kindergarten those 13 long years ago, completed high school, or after working a few years. And you desire a master's degree or a doctoral degree, regardless of what you graduated from. Today, Women Who Thrive, as well as Raw Stories and myself, would like to celebrate you and honor you on today. For some of you, it's waiting to get out of school, get on with your life. It's time when the old childhood rhyme, no more pencils, no more books, no more teachers or dirty looks describe just how you feel right now. For many others of you, high school graduation is just the next step in your education. You're heading to a university or community college, or you just ready for your next opportunity. Regardless of what it is, today is your day not to give up. Today is your day to celebrate. Today, we want you to know we are so happy for you and congratulations. We are so honored to, as you move your tassel, mine is already to the left. Most of the time before you graduate, it's usually on the right. You move it to the left when you graduate. I want to honor you today, even as I have on my half of my attire. Let you know that we honor you today and congratulations. Oh, wow. Congratulations. Well, hello, everyone. I'm now excited to introduce to you our wonderful guest. Our first guest is Tangi. Let's bring her on in. How you doing, lady? How are you?
How are you?
I'm well. I am so happy you are here. Can you just move over just a little bit so we'll make sure we put you in the center?
There we
Yes, perfect. Yes, that's perfect.
go. Supposed to there we go.
Perfect. So where are you located right now?
So I am actually in France, in the southwest of France, in the mountains of the Midi Pyrenees. So we're kind of like just a few hours from Andorra and the Spanish border.
Oh my goodness. So what time is it right now? Your time?
It's 2 a.m.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming so early and doing this interview. We're excited to learn what you do, especially about the travel curve. But before we learn about that, tell us a little about yourself.
So my name is Tegan Aileen. I'm actually Canadian. I'm from a smaller city in Canada called Hamilton, Ontario. And when I was a young girl, I went through a lot of stuff in the city I lived in. And then I moved to Toronto, which is like the biggest city, one of the biggest cities in Canada, at which
Mhm.
point I started working as a plus size model. So I was a plus size model for many years, and then I moved to France. And when I moved to France, I was trying to find a way to use the platform that I had had as a diverse model in the industry in North America for something
Mhm.
good here. And I started the Travel Curve, where I represent women in travel, plus size women in travel, just to show diversity in the travel industry, because at the time there wasn't that much of that.
Oh wow. So how did you show diversity? I know you said that you how did you do that in travel business? What do you mean by that?
Because I started to get into travel around 2010, but it really took off for me in 2014 after my father passed away. So
Okay.
my dad passed away when he was really young. He was only about 60
Wow.
years old. And I,
Mhm.
at the time, I was in a job, a 9 to 5 job that was really kind of stifling me. I'm pretty much a creative person, but didn't know
Okay.
how to use creativity to like earn an income back then.
Right.
when my dad passed, it was kind of like the wake up call to just go and experience my life and do what I had to do. So I started to travel a lot. But as I would go on social media and I would look at Instagram and things like that, I never saw any women really. There was not a lot of diversity back in 2013. You wouldn't see full figured women. You wouldn't
Got it.
necessarily see women of color. And
Mhm.
uh, through my time traveling, and then finally once I moved to France, I thought, well, the only thing that I can do is probably create something where I can show size diversity and
Yes.
support diversity in travel. And now, of course, there's like so many amazing communities
Mhm.
for plus size women traveling, women of color traveling. There's like so many great communities now. So I'm so glad to like be a part of that and watch all of that and experience that. But yeah, and in like 2010, 13, it was a totally different landscape.
Wow, that's amazing because I love traveling. So the idea that you talk about traveling and you decided to use the gift that you who you are in order to encourage others to travel. Tell us how you make money by traveling. How do you do that? You said you use your creativities to make money. So what are you doing to make money?
So I think for when a lot of people want to know what travel bloggers do and how travel
Mhm.
bloggers make money, it's a multifaceted answer because a lot of us, whether you're a travel blogger or not, you kind of pull income from diverse revenue streams. So
Mhm.
for me, I do a lot of affiliated marketing through my website.
Okay.
What that
Wow.
means is like I promote certain products, and if people click
Mhm.
on the links to those products, they receive a commission. However, I don't promote anything I don't really believe in, and you can kind of see I have a few companies that I tend to stick with. I'm actually an ambassador for a travel fashion brand called Diane Crow,
Mhm.
and she that I love and I love to promote. So that's another way that I draw income is I have ambassadorships with a couple brands that I promote on a regular basis. And I have different streams within those companies of how I create revenue. There's also many other ways that you can do it, and there are a few other ways I'm introducing into the business as well. But those are kind of like the main two that I work with right now. And then I also do client work. So sometimes from traveling or from working with brands, they see my level of skills, whether it be in photography or writing or whatever, and they ask
Mhm.
me to come on board for projects in other ways. So that's another way a travel blogger, and that's another way a lot of travel bloggers make income.
Wow. Do you help people? Do you coach people if they wanted to do the same thing you're doing?
I don't actually have a coaching system set up yet.
Mhm.
It's funny, at the moment, my brand is kind of transitioning into something that's slightly different.
Mhm.
After everything that's happened over the last little while, you can imagine the life of a travel blogger has
Mhm.
really changed in the new landscape that we're in right now. So,
Mhm.
um, for a long time, after I think I've been living in France for about 4 years now, but after about 2.5 years, I really started to feel a shift where I wanted to refocus what I was doing and focus less about traveling, but more about living in France, more about that experience,
Mhm.
and also about the art of like slow living. Because when you live here, the lifestyle is very different and things operate on a totally different scale. So I wanted
Mhm.
to start introducing those things into my blog and into my Instagram, but I really didn't. I was scared to do it because it's called the travel curve. So I was having some hesitation with that. But especially now, in the light of everything that has happened with COVID, it really was resonating with me now more than ever that this was the time to do it. So I'm actually taking that kind of switch. And in that time, once I'm done with this switch, I might actually work on some coaching things, more in the realms of like lifestyle, less about
Mhm.
business, about how to maintain a healthy lifestyle and business life, because I think that's a hard thing to do, but that's kind of like future in the works projects.
Oh,
Sorry.
wow. Wow. If someone wanted to do the same thing that you're doing, how will you encourage them to start?
Well, oh gosh, I would say you just have to start. When there's two avenues, and I really love that you brought up education and graduation right before this, because honestly, I think I did a post on my Instagram a couple weeks ago, and I said when I was growing up, I had like no confidence. I really didn't believe myself that I was smart, that I had the ability to go to school and like do well in school. And I was very sick as a teenager, and I ended up going to college, but I went and I took tourism and travel, and I said if I do that, I'm just going to make sure I do my very best and I graduate with honors. And I did. But in hindsight, doing tourism and travel to get into travel, this kind of career, this wasn't my original intention. But when I graduated, the travel industry hit recession in 2008. So I couldn't really do travel industry in a typical way. I used my skills for other things, the transferable skills I had. And then inevitably, I ended up here. But I would say if you want to get into social media, if you want to become like an Instagram influencer, which are big catchphrases and things, blogging, whatever, it's so good to take marketing program in school. If you do that, you will save yourself a lot of time, because I spent like the first 3.5 years actually learning all of this stuff. It was like getting a new degree, but I just had to do it from home. So if you aren't going to school, you can do it on your own. But I took so many courses about how to run successful social media campaigns, how to photograph things, how to edit photography, how to write. It's a very multifaceted job. So there's lots of studying. The first thing I would do is say, get some knowledge under your belt, and then like go forth and do it simultaneously. Learn as you go. So many of us out there have learned as we've gone, and we have such a big community that rallies together. That's one of the best things about this whole industry, is that like we all rally together and we all find each other. So there are people that will be out there and will support you and give you some guidance.
I love it. Wow. And how will you encourage someone that may be voguing right now with traveling? And, with the corona, right now they may not be able to travel. How will you encourage them today?
Well, there's been a lot of talk in the industry about how to take a healthy pivot. Like, how can you turn what you're doing into kind of something else? And I've seen a lot of people within the industry. I have this amazing friend. Her name is Annette Richmond, and she runs a group called Fat Girls Traveling. And I really love her because she's really taking that word back and reclaiming it. But she has been an absolute idol to me through this whole experience, because she has really shown up for her community in a great way. She's in that travel community. Obviously, there's a lot of people that can't travel and are very sad about it. So she's been really there to talk about all of the issues that might happen, that come as a result of having, some of your freedoms taken away. And then she's also been doing social gatherings online, and just always finding really beautiful ways to like engage her community. So I think taking that stance is one road. There's other things you could do, like how I am. If you have another passion that you really love, like if I'm really developing interest for gardening and flowers and plant medicine and learning about the plants in the area that I live in. And if you are interested in something like that, pivoting to that could be a useful thing to do right now. Now is the time you have to experiment. So that's what I would say. Sorry, I'm so rambly, but it's like
No, that was good. I love it. That was really good. Wow, that was good. Anything you would like to say to the women and women who thrive that are watching?
Yes. Hi, everybody. I know I introduced myself the other day, but I just wanted to say it's been so lovely to connect with the few of you that I've connected with so far. I would love to connect with more of you. You can find me obviously through regular Facebook page, but I also have the Travel Curve Facebook page. And then I also have the Travel Curve Instagram, which is where I situate myself most of the time. And I'm actually doing a live series myself. I did mine earlier. Yeah, I started a series called What's Next, because this area in France, our lockdown ended last Monday. And I know that moving forward, a lot of people are asking the question, like, how do we go reintegrate with society amongst knowing that this illness is like still in the air? Like, how do we do it? So I've been talking with a lot of the amazing entrepreneurs, female entrepreneurs that I know from my community that I wanted to introduce to the world. And we're kind of talking about steps that you can take as this phase 3 kind of goes down. So I have that live going every Tuesday as well.
Yay! I love it. I love it. I love when seeing women thrive and as well as helping other women thrive. That is amazing. Oh
Well,
my goodness.
I remember when all of this started to happen, I was just like, I know all of these incredible women that like offer amazing, whether it's products or services or whatever, but these are the girls that have been keeping my spirits lifted through this time. So
Wow.
I really need to, like, I've always wanted to share them with everybody else. And I just thought, you know, in the mind of like taking this pivot, this is something that I wanted to do for so long. So I just thought, you know what, it's time to do it. And it's been really great.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you for coming at 2 a.m. in the morning to
Oh,
encourage us,
so much.
tell us
I'm so
about your life.
right now. I just
We have someone that said, thank you for sharing your storybook. Said, I've always been interested in how traveling bloggers live.
Well, I mean, I don't live like the typical travel blogger. I think there's a lot of travel bloggers that live rather nomadically. And, you know, when I was in my 20s, I did the same thing, but I'm like 34 now, and I have a husband, and, you know, like we're kind of like settling into our family life. So for us, it's kind of been, how can you take travel from a different perspective and kind of like do it in a different way. So here we are.
Wow. So your husband, he goes with you traveling too, correct? So that's good. So it's more like a family thing.
That's a whole story in itself. We actually met each other at the very end of a 6-month trip. I traveled across the world for about 6 months. I spent several months in Australia, and then I came to Europe, and I met my husband in Barcelona, and we knew each
Oh,
other one day. And then he told me he was going to come to Canada. We were going to travel in Canada together, but I didn't really believe it. But then, like a year later, he came to Canada, and we did like a 27,000 kilometer road trip across the United States and Canada, 9 national parks in America, 3 in Canada. And by the end of it, we decided like we were a couple, we were gonna like make it work out. So we did a bit of back and forth for a while, and then finally I got a French visa to come and live in France for a while. And then we went through the process of like what would unfold in order for us to stay here together. So we kind of met traveling. We don't always travel together, and my husband owns his own business as well. So these days I've been traveling solo or with other women more lately, but we both really have a passion for travel. Yeah.
wow, that is awesome. You just know women who thrive will be going on a trip with you eventually because we love traveling. So yes.
That's so good. I love that. I would love to do that. And also I would love to showcase the area of France that I live in. I just think
Yes.
special, and it's kind of off the beaten track here. Like when people come to France, they always think about Paris, or they think
Yeah.
about French Riviera, which is like Marseille and Nice. And though I really actually adore Nice and spent some time there last summer and loved it, I live more to the west in the mountains, and I think it's just this most beautiful, untapped place in France, and I love living here. So I'd love to show you guys around.
Wow. Wow. We may have to make that happen. Well, thank you so much for coming and doing your interview. We really appreciate you. And you get you some sleep. And we just know you always welcoming women who thrive.
Appreciate it. It's been so nice to meet you face to face. Thank you.
Well, you have a good night.
Yes, you too. Have a good night. Thanks.
Wow, that's amazing. It's great to have people around the world come and be on Raw Stories, especially Tinjik. I cannot believe she lives in France, and we're so thankful that she came, woke up 2 a.m. in the morning to talk with us and allow us to hear her story, allow us to understand her life as a vlogger or I guess a traveling blogger as well as a business doing that. So it's an honor to have her. The next person we have, I'm very excited to introduce to you. She is a author, and the great thing about this, you get to learn about her book as well as what she desire to want you to gain from her book. Her name is Sylvia. The title of her book is Inspiration: Take Life One Day at a Time. This book is inspiration, is collection of thoughts, headaches, and wisdom coming straight from the heart. It is designed to uplift and encourage. We all could have a boost every now and then, especially right now during the corona. Even though a lot of people are going, back in the community or trying to get transition in, there's still a lot of fear because we know at the end of the day that corona is still in the air. Regardless, a small but powerful book, inspirational, will make you think, laugh, maybe even cry. It is a great read and a wonderful addition to your personal library. Let's welcome Miss Sylvia. Hi, Miss Sylvia. How are you?
Hello, I'm fine. How are you, Dr. Leath?
I am well. I am so happy that you are here. And right now, you're
Thank
currently
you.
in North Carolina. Is that correct?
I'm in Fayetteville, North Carolina. Yes.
Whoop, my hometown. Yes.
Yes.
Love that place.
Yes. Absolutely.
We're so excited about that. Tell us a little about yourself.
Okay, so I was born and raised in Chicago, Illinois. Attended Chicago public schools. I studied journalism at Columbia College of Chicago. And I had always promised myself when I got ready to slow down that I was going to move away from the snow. And if I ever never see another snowflake, that'll be just fine with me. So I'm here. Actually, I have a nephew here. I do have a family member here who's retired military. And he always just said, just come on down, you'll love it. And he was absolutely right. I love it here. Love it here.
Wow.
So,
Fayetteville. So
yes,
tell us
ma'am.
a little about your book.
Okay, so first of all, before I get into that, I just want to applaud Miss Tegan. First of all, I thought she looked great for 2 a.m. in the morning.
I
I
know,
couldn't pull
right?
it off. Yeah, I thought she looked great for 2 a.m. But I just want to applaud her and say that I really enjoyed listening to her, and I'm going to have to connect with her because I love traveling as well. I have traveled extensively, mostly cruising, but I think it might be a while before I have the nerve to get back on another cruise ship.
I
But
know, right?
right? Yeah. But I just want to say thank you to her for sharing such wonderful information. And also, I want to say thank you to you, Dr. Leath, for allowing me this opportunity. I
Oh,
am
it's an honor. God
humbled.
bless you.
I
Thank
am
you for
humbled and
coming.
honored to be a part of this group, Women Who Thrive.
Yeah.
It's just been wonderful so far. So thank you so much for that. I just thank God for favor. I thank God for favor.
Yes.
So about my book, it's called Inspiration. Take life one step at a time because that's all we can really do, and
Mm-hmm.
especially right now. So
Mm-hmm.
the purpose of me writing the book was to uplift and encourage something that I've always tried to do. You know, we're all in this together. So I wanted to share, wanted to be transparent.
Mm-hmm.
And I found that by sometimes, we don't want to be transparent. Sometimes we have problems with that. I know I do, absolutely, sometimes. But by being transparent, you really reach others. You reach people where they are.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I started writing the book a few years ago, and it was off and on, off and on. And actually, I was writing another book at the same time entitled Colors. So I was all pretty much into writing colors, but then I kept being drawn back to inspiration, kept being drawn back to it. I didn't know why. I didn't know why then, but I know now. I have a cousin, Pastor Grace Gordon Smith, in at Kingdom Life Center in Bourbon, Illinois. She always likes to say, "The timing of God is everything."
Yes.
Timing, yes, the timing of God is everything. So I kept being drawn back to inspiration. So finally, I said, "Let me just go ahead, finish one thing at a time." finished it, got it published, and it's just been published about a month or so ago, right when Corona started to hit. Who knew? Who knew that this is where we would be at this time? And this is a book that is absolutely encouraging everyone, myself included.
Mm-hmm.
The phrase I keep hearing from people is relatable. Relatable. I've started getting messages that said, your book is so relatable. Thank you for being transparent. I can relate to this part of it or that part of it. And they're letting me know, what really hit home with them. And they laughed out loud. They cried. They were like, oh my God, you're in my head.
Mm-hmm.
And so I thank God, like I said, from the very first line that I wrote, I prayed, I said, Lord, let this reach somebody. Let this book live up to its name. And so far, that's what it's been doing. And let me just share with you as well, speaking of the timing, I mailed off a shipment of books. I want to say, actually, it was on April 16th. That's when it was.
Mm-hmm.
Probably about 25, 30 books. Took them to the post office, mailed them all off. People started getting their books. They started reading them, letting me know how they were enjoying them and everything. Some of them took a little longer to get to people than others, but within about 2 weeks, everybody had their books, except one person, a good Facebook friend.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't know what happened to the book. So I said, oh, your book must have gotten lost. We said, let's just wait a little while. It'll be there. We waited. The book didn't get to her. And I had just started to get all disgruntled. Oh, you know what? Maybe I'll send you another one, whatever. She got the book yesterday, over a month from the day that I mailed it. I mailed it on April 16th. She got it on May 17th. Here's what I'm getting to with the timing. When she got her book on yesterday, she sent me a message and said, would you know that this book arrived at the perfect time? We were getting upset. We didn't know where the book was. We didn't know why the book hadn't got her. The book wasn't lost. The book wasn't lost. The book was not supposed to get to her. And here's why. She said, I've just learned that I'm going to have my dog put down on Saturday.
Oh.
And she said, I'm reading your book and it is getting me through this rough time. The timing is everything.
Right.
So, and again, this was not the time for the other book to be released, which I was pushing to release the next book, Colors. You read the excerpt at the back of the book.
Right.
I was pushing to release that one, but then God kept saying, no, inspiration, finish that, get it out. And here it is, just at the time when, when it was needed.
Wow. And I was reading your book. I love the statement you talked about, the demonstration of being in a tunnel. Can you explain that? I love how you said the end of the tunnel, how you was there for years, but you always saw the light. Can you expand on that? I love that.
Sure. When you're going through a tunnel, you can't see what's behind you, of course, and it may look like that you are actually in this tunnel for a very, very long time. But then slowly but surely, you start to see the light. It gets lighter. You start to come out. And I said that the darkness and the light cannot coexist. So once you're out of that tunnel, yes, cannot coexist. You're out of it then. And what I like about it is, speaking of tunnel, when I think of a tunnel, and I think I mentioned that in my book as well, how God has an aerial view. He can see from the beginning and the end and everything in between.
Yes.
All we can see is pretty much right past our nose. That's as far as we can see.
Yeah.
But God, yeah. So, and he brings us out of that tunnel in his own time. There it is again, the timing. Timing of God is everything.
Wow, that is so good.
Yes.
Do you mind reading a little bit out of your book? Do you have just read just a little bit so they can get a taste?
Sure. I just happen to have a copy right here.
Awesome. I knew you would.
What would you like me to read? Just the beginning of it, or
it does not, or just open it up. Open in the middle of the book and just read something.
Okay. All right. Here. I opened it to the middle and I'm reading Clean Out Your Closet.
Go ahead. Yes.
All right. Let's say your mind is a closet. You need to organize your thoughts just as you would the clothes in your closet. Hang all the dresses in one section, skirts in another, blouses or shirts in yet another area, and trousers would all hang together. Shoes don't go on hangers. They go on the floor or on a shoe rack in one section of the closet. Organize your mind. Remember, if your thoughts are jumbled and all over the place, so is your life. Take inventory of your closet. If something is no longer being worn or used, throw it out. Keep everything neat and clean. No ill-fitting outfits should be kept around. Is anybody listening? There is no need for things to take up space in your closet. So they can be replaced with something more appropriate. Don't continue to wear an outfit if it does not fit you anymore. It will only make you look bad. Either have it altered or simply discard it. Rid your closet of anything that is just hanging around and adding nothing to your wardrobe. That's right. Rid yourself of people in your life who are just hanging around, taking up valuable space in your closet.
Wow.
They are faded, they're out of shape, and they do nothing for you.
Wow.
Replace them with things that fit and make you look good. There you go.
Wow. Someone just said, oh my God. I knew those two things were connected. I love organizing my closet and love list making. Wow. Wow. See, just hearing just a taste of it, Sylvia, you know, people gonna want a copy of this book.
Thank you.
Oh my goodness.
Thank you. It's still ministering to me as well. Like you said, and right now, right where we are today, we do need inspiration.
Yes, we do. And inspiration that would transform us and help us move forward.
Yes,
even though we may be in that black tunnel, like I love that. And even the closet. I'm telling you, when y'all read this book, it's really good. It's a really good book.
Thank you.
It's a good book, and I was so happy. And I just love how the connection, I call it destined connections. And you know, she reached out to me about promoting her book. I wait a minute, let's promote it. Let's do an interview. Not knowing she even know my mom, which is exciting, as well as the first lady.
Yeah.
And, you know, oh my God, First Lady Dachshund. So it's just exciting just to know and how connection and even
connection.
This right here is going to transform your life.
Absolutely.
Not just for today, but even 20 or 30 years from now, these words will continue to ring in your life.
Yes, so I thank God. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead. So if a young person
for divine connection, I attend Tabernacle of Miracles Church, where Suffragan Bishop Maxie Dobson is my pastor, and First Lady Arletha Dobson is our wonderful First Lady, and your mom, Dr. Janie Meadows, is the founding First Lady.
Yes.
Yes.
So if a young person picked up your book, how would it encourage them?
Well, actually, there is a section in there that I had mentioned about encouraging young people. I said, well, you know, some of us have gone past these things already, but be willing to listen. Be willing to listen to people who have experienced things and they're trying to let you know what might be down the road. Be willing to listen. You might not understand it. You might not understand everything they're saying. I mentioned how my father used to say some things and I would giggle. Yeah, right. Okay. And the same thing with my grandmother. She said, she had a phrase that she always used. She said, oh, you're not paying me any more attention than a cat in Italy. I had no idea what she was saying. What she was really saying is that I was really ignoring her because, as I mentioned, years later when I traveled to Italy, I found out that the cat population was very, very sparse. And most people had dogs. So that's what she was saying. There are hardly any cats in Italy. You're not paying me any attention. So be just willing to, yes, be willing to listen when older people, it doesn't even have to be elders, but especially elders, but even someone that's been where you're trying to go.
Right.
Just keep listen. That's in the book as well.
That is awesome. And someone that I could say, how will a person that's in their middle age, then I'm going to the old age, because I'm looking at all different areas, because people, I want everybody to know that every person can relate to this book.
Right.
Your teens should read it. Your middle age, it doesn't matter. If you elder, doesn't matter. This book will, resound to every single one. So if a person at middle age, how would this impact them?
Well, it would impact them because they would, they could definitely connect with what I'm saying right now. As far as once being young, but now we're a little older, middle age, they could definitely connect with that. And then as far as older people could definitely connect with it as well, because again, it's all about being inspired and being uplifted and being encouraged. Some of the things that I mentioned in the book, it will still inspire you. There's, like you said, there's something that everyone can take away from it.
Yes. And
Yeah.
then someone else will desire to write because they haven't seen something they've been waiting to read and they feel like they can write. How will you encourage them to start the process?
Oh, absolutely. I've actually had some questions about that. I would just say you don't have to be a quote unquote writer to write. Anyone can write a
Right.
book. Just put down, if depending on what you want to write about, just start putting down your thoughts. Believe it or not, I wrote this book kind of from the end to the beginning. So it doesn't matter. You can start in the middle. You can start, but just put down your thoughts. Just put them down on some paper. I mentioned that in there as well. Just start writing. Even if you don't have a computer or whatever, just write. Write down your thoughts, and then they will all come together, even if they're just all separate at first. And then you start to compile them. And I would also be happy to answer any questions if anyone wants to reach out to me. I'm glad to help anyone as far as writing goes or anything else that I can help with, but especially as far as writing goes. But yeah, that's the way to do it. Just it's because writing is nothing but a compilation of thoughts. That's all it is. That's all it is. And then you put them together, and they will fit together.
Right.
They're like a jigsaw puzzle at first, but the pieces will fit together.
What if we have a person out there have started their book and they're in the middle and they just need to finish? How will you encourage that person to push through?
Yes, because like I said, it took me a little bit to write this because there were some obstacles that I came against. But to push through, you just even if you only just write a little bit at a time, the key is to keep at it. Keep at it. Just because if you lay it down, that's where it's going to be. It's just going to be sitting there. It's not going to write itself. But just to pray through, push through, just whatever thoughts you have, even if you have to go back to what you've already written, maybe you want to revise that or whatever. But my advice would be to just keep pushing through, even if it's just a little bit at a time. And you'll be surprised before you know it, you'll have a lot more done than you thought you did.
Wow. And so to bring closure to your interview, how would you like to encourage all people that are watching?
Again, I would just like to encourage everyone, especially where we are today. We're all in this together. Just be inspired. Just as my book says, we all need inspiration. I would just encourage everyone to just reach out to each other. We all need to help each other, as they're saying now. Be more kind. Whatever you can do for someone else, and we're just all in this together. And we will get through it.
Yes. And please let them know where they can buy your book or find your book.
Sure. It's available on Amazon, as you can see on the screen now. It's in the Kindle version, as well as the paperback. Or I actually have some hard copies on hand. So if you want a signed copy, you can reach out to me. I'm on Facebook, and you can also reach out to me through email at sylvia.carlton@ymail.com. My email is sylvia.carlton@ymail.com. I'd love to hear from you again, or you can find it on Amazon.
Well, Sylvia, if you don't mind, at the end of this conversation in Women Who Thrive, please put your email address as well as contents at the end of the video when we complete the interview so other people can see it inside of Women Who Thrive, if that's okay.
I will.
Wow. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for such informative interview, allowing us to learn about your book. And I encourage you to please go buy her book. It's very inspirational. I enjoy reading it. To be honest with you, I read it in one day because that's what I love to read. I read books daily. So I am so thankful to have you, Sylvia. Please give everybody a hug for me. Will you go?
I will. Absolutely.
And bless you. Okay. Bless you. Wow, we are so excited about all the interviews that took place on tonight. I just enjoy meeting wonderful people and connecting this way because I just think at the end of the day, it's another way to help you thrive. And most of all, here are genuine, raw stories. No one was provided with questions ahead of time. They have to answer the questions on the spot because we want to make sure we have an authentic conversation. I want to thank you for taking the time to watch Raw Stories, where we share true life experience to help you believe anything is possible and help you thrive thrive regardless of your age. I look forward to sharing this time with you on next Tuesday. I'm Dr. Nancia Leath, and I'm with Raw Stories. God bless you, and you have a good night.